use of identifying information, which resulted in a restitution of almost $2,000. Right? How
Yes.
much is that? Has he paid?
He hasn't paid anything, sir.
This much, right? So the victim keeps getting victimized. You had TWIC cards, credit and debit cards, driver's license, health insurance cards of other people.
Yes, sir.
In total, 12 items of personal identifying information belonging to 7 different victims. We have 2 cases. Pending one, it's cause number 25 CR 395. And that is a motion to revoke probation that is pending, and it was held in abeyance originally, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. He pled earlier in Jeopardy.
And
I can say, pled true to count 1. It just fell into
back
report.
in November,
Yes, sir.
failing to report to the probation office. And what's going on now? Failing to report?
Yes, sir. He failed to report in February and March.
Okay. All right. So what are we gonna do? Yeah, we don't have an agreement or no?
No, we're gonna go from
All right.
on that.
Okay. Then 25 CR 395, the state of Texas versus David Booth is called. You or David Booth? Yes?
Yes,
You
sir.
have to speak out, so she, thank you
Yes, sir.
very much. And you were here with Mr. Adams, your attorney, and the state's attorney is present. There is a motion to revoke unadjudicated probation filed September 19th, 2025. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of memo? What we have is a first amended motion
Right.
that was filed on May 22nd, 2026. Does the defendant waive a formal reading of this motion and also any additional time he may have to prepare in this case? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Booth, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements that you make during this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Lawyer. In summary, and we can proceed in summary. In summary, this first amended motion to revoke probation alleges that on June 16th of last year, 2025, in this court, you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for the fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. Is all of that true? And that's a second degree felony.
Yes, sir.
True. First amended number 5. Is that where we are?
Yes, the on the page with miss, yes, sir.
This states that this alleges that you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office on or about February 10th, 2026 in violation of condition 4 of your deferred or unadjudicated probation order. Is that true or untrue?
True.
Are you pleading true to that voluntarily and because it is true as it is alleged? Do you understand that a voluntarily and knowingly made plea of true to one or more violations of probation, that's enough to grant a motion to revoke probation?
Yes, sir.
Your probation can be revoked. You are on deferred or unadjudicated probation for the second degree felony of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. Your probation can be revoked. You can be found guilty and sentenced to no less than 2, no more than 20 years confinement in prison. Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true today?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. All right, state. No, he's pleaded true, but does the state have additional information or evidence to present?
No, Your Honor. I know that he was, when we did this first, back in November 10th of 25, we held this in abeyance and he was supposed to report twice a month after that. And so now we've got February, March, and he really hasn't pled the two times. We had originally thought he hadn't pled, reported in January,
You
but he
just had
had.
pled?
I reported in January, so reporting twice a month, in February and March.
You have
And honestly,
probation officer.
I, with this new offense, I wanted to throw him in prison, but after reading over the new offense, I'm not exactly sure of the facts of the case.
You want to present any evidence
So-
regarding this, additional evidence?
No, sir,
from the
I
court
don't.
on the failure to appear?
No, sir. On the failure to appear?
Yeah. I'd like to know more about this.
Sure, we'll call probation office.
Raise your right hand, Andy. You solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during the trial shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Glory to you. Thank you.
State your name for the record, please. Ms. Court, are you probation officer for David Booth?
I-
And that's on this case involving the fraudulent use or possession of identifying information, is that correct? And how long have you been his probation officer?
I'm sorry, not a year.
A year now?
How
Okay.
much? For how long?
A year, almost a year.
Go ahead.
So at some point, you filed an administrative hearing because he was not reporting back in 2025, is that correct?
Yes,
And so we filed the motion and we came here in front of the judge and he pled truth to not reporting, is that correct?
that's okay.
So now here we are again in 2026, and has he been reporting as required by the courts?
It's not.
Yeah.
January, he reported actually twice, and in February, and March, he did not report at all.
Was there any excuse that he gave why he did not report?
No, sir.
Have you ever talked to him, or did he have to get arrested before we could actually talk to him?
Yeah, no, when he got arrested, that's the only time I saw him in jail, but not before I had arrested.
So he didn't turn himself in, didn't call up and try to rearrange the appointments or anything, is that correct?
That's good.
Okay. So in looking at all this, what is it that you think is in his best interest or in the best interest of justice and working with Mr. Booth? You've been working with him for a year now. Do you think he's somebody that can comply with conditions? Or do you think he's somebody that needs help? Where do you think we should go?
I think at first, when he was first reporting, he seemed to want to comply with everything, but then his visits dwindled down. February and March, I was very concerned about him because he had not been reporting. He had not contacted me to give me an explanation as to why he did not report. He did advise me back in January that he has PTSD and he has some trauma, and that he was going to MHMR for some sort of shots. When I asked him to name the shots, he could not recall the name of the shot. I think there may be some mental health issues involved. But apart from that, I don't have any further information.
Do you think it might be best to, do you think you could continue working with him, that he might be able to comply if we put him on the mental health caseload, if he does indeed have those problems?
Yes, sir, I think so.
Well, who says he's got a mental health?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out if he does.
I mean, who's the expert that says that? That's,
Well, he mentioned to me, sir, that he had PTSD and that he was
I
going
know.
to MHMR.
But we haven't seen any evidence of that, Judge.
is he self-diagnosing and, or do we have a doctor that helps us out on this? But what is it about that we didn't pick up when we put him on probation the first at the beginning that made him fail to report? I mean, really, what is the trauma that requires him, that causes him not to report? If you can't do anything, you got to report, or else you're not on supervision. You're on your own supervision, which doesn't work. You know, we don't need them, me, then you're on your own, and that's not the way it works.
Yes, sir.
Supervision has a term that has a meaning that's common. I mean, someone is looking over you.
Yes, sir.
And that's been happening since June of last year or year. And
Judge, I don't-
everybody has to report. That's the thing you have to do. And then everything else we can help with, but if you don't report, you're AWOL.
Yes, sir.
Have you been in the service, military service?
No, sir.
When you go AWOL, they find you. And you don't get a attaboy. Okay, go ahead.
I don't see anything mentioned in his pre-sentence report concerning any mental health issues back when he was placed on probation. It's never been mentioned up until just
He's been
recently.
on probation now for a year, and the couple of main things that were important, not only uh, reporting, but fraudulent use of identifying information, which resulted in a restitution of almost $2,000. Right? How much is that? Has he paid?
He hasn't paid anything, sir.
This much, right? So the victim keeps getting victimized.
Judge, since I don't think there's going to be any payments from him, considering that I think he does not have a steady home. The only thing we can do for, if he's not going to report, is put him in prison.
What do you have to say?
I'll ask a few questions.
Yes, sir.
So you said that you've been supervising him for a year, I believe, starting in June of 2025,
Yes, sir.
and he didn't have problems until you said February and March of 2026, right?
Yes, sir.
So one of the good things and positive things that you can tell Judge Stevens is for the overwhelming majority of the time, he has been reporting. If you had him for a year and then he has the problems in March and February, well, we go back a year, then that's pretty good.
Well, I wouldn't say so because he actually absconded. This is the second hearing we're having. His first hearing was held in abeyance because he absconded.
Yeah,
Well, then,
it's in the first time.
that's true. Well, on the positive for him, your interactions with him, I know Judge brought out that you're not a medical doctor and you're not a psychologist, but in just dealing with him as a layperson, is there anything that make you think he has kind of mental problem? I know you're not a doctor, and I'm not asking for a diagnosis, but I mean, we can stick.
Yeah, you are.
Well, no,
Yeah, I'm objecting to it.
well, have you seen anything out of the ordinary and strange with him?
No, sir, I don't. Just accepted. When he reports to me, I could tell he has a lot of anxiety. And he talks about the trauma that he's had in the past.
And what's that trauma?
That he lost 3 children, and that he's suffering from grief, and he told me he has been getting shots from stone top. But when I asked him to provide the verification, he wasn't able
That
to.
never happened. We were in, I was interested in that too. Nothing's ever surfaced like that. But also remember, we've got a victim here who who lost money. Was stolen from essentially, and they've got zero. Well, no, wait on it to get around to paying. He's been on probation for going on a year. Now he hadn't paid one thin penny to the poor people who got victimized.
Let me call him. All right. Do you have
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make with him in his interrogation of you and will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, go on.
Do you have any mental health diagnosis by any medical doctor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and who's the doctor and what did they diagnose you with?
Dr. Rafik and USMR.
Rafik, and he's at MHMR.
Yes, sir.
And what?
Stand by. I'm on warrant duty today for some reason. I think we got the person who's supposed to be doing it is unavailable. Remind me, you say 150 over 2 of this call came in. Okay, thanks. Go ahead, Langston.
You said that you've been diagnosed with a mental health disorder. What was it?
PTSD, schizophrenia, psychiatric PTSD.
What was it? Go ahead.
PTSD. Schizophrenia, psychiatric features.
She can't hear you.
Schizophrenic and psychiatric features. Perfect.
Okay. And were you actually getting medication from Spinal and HR for that?
Yes,
And what were you receiving?
in Vegas side, every 3 months. Injection.
So when it comes to your reporting, were you ever homeless at a point?
Yes, sir. I got kicked out of Salvation Home because of the time was up.
Okay. And did you have a car or transportation?
Yes, sir.
So being poor, and I use the word poor because if you're at the Salvation Army, that means you're not renting a house, you don't own a house, right? You don't have any property that could be sold to get you a car or anything like that, right?
Yes, sir.
So poverty was your main issue, right?
Yes, sir.
And with being poor, it's hard for a poor person to be able to.
Wait a second, aren't you at the Salvation Army?
That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
He's saying you don't.
I know. I'm on the board of directors there.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
He's saying he's.
Well, he's here in the Salvation Army, here in
Mhm.
Beaumont. Yep, so go ahead. And he can't make it, he can't report or contact, come on, Salvation Army will help you. We'll help him do that. Okay.
So
Keep going.
you said that you had to leave the Salvation Army. Why?
Yes, sir. When the time was up.
And when you say your time is up, what does that mean?
They give you 3 months of good days, and after those 3 months, you have to leave. And
So once you leave the Salvation Army, now you back in the streets homeless, right?
yes, sir.
And living in the streets homeless, would you have been in a tent? Would you have been under a bridge? Where were you?
In a team.
And with you being in a tent homeless, did that cause difficulty with your ability to report?
Yes, sir.
Now I don't know, and you can just tell the judge about what time, month-wise, did your time with the Salvation Army run out?
Around last of February.
Okay, and that kind of explains, because I think what she said is that you started dropping off in February and March. Well, if your time runs out in the Salvation Army, I'm just doing the math of this. You saying that your time ran out somewhere around February. She's saying you start to fall off February, March. So that would have been the time that your time is up, Salvation Army, and you homeless and you live in tent or wherever you're living, right?
Yes, sir.
And the poverty of that situation, not trying to justify it, but did that make it extremely difficult for you to call, report, or otherwise?
Yes, sir. I got everything started. So.
And then as far as your poverty is concerned, I think Judge brought out when he mentioned that you had made 0 payments, I think he said. I want you to respond to that.
Yes, sir.
Were you basically poor where you couldn't make any payments?
Yes, sir. I was trying to get help getting the ID so I could get a job.
Okay, and what happened? You just tell us, I mean, your own words, what happened?
It was like a ring around the rosy. I need certain credentials to get the ID, and it's hard. It was hard.
Yeah. So what Mr. Laird initially was suggesting was about getting you some help with the MHMR. And then I know the question was raised about you reporting, and if you're not going to report, would prison be the best thing? Are you saying that if you get these services that the state can provide?
Which one of those? Which ones are those again?
I think he was talking about the mental health services at the beginning. Mr. Laird was mentioning about. Remember, Mr. Laird said something about mental health services.
Yes, sir.
Would you be willing to do those services that Mr. Laird initially talked about?
Yes, sir.
And to my understanding, when you talk with your probation officer, she told you that she wants you to continue to be on probation. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So when you combine the two, if you get the services that you need, the mental health that you need, are you willing and able to try to get a job?
Yes, sir.
And would you be willing to pay back whatever you owe on this $2,000 that judge mentioned, right?
Everything. Yes, sir.
So at the end of the day, what are you asking just to give you a second chance? You're gonna come to this family,
Yes, sir.
no doubt about it,
No doubt.
right?
Yes, sir.
And at the end of the day, being poor is tough. It's not easy being poor,
Percents?
right?
I got just. Anything else?
Just I was just asking that due to his poverty in a situation where he was living with the Salvation Army, and that according to him, it ran out in February, and he's living on the streets, no transportation, not money. He's willing to work the services that Mr. Laird initially talked about. His PO, to my understanding, is not opposed to him being continued on supervision. I asked him that in front of everybody.
Can I ask you a few questions before you start arguing on this case?
Well, he was asking me what I thought. I mean, he asked me what I was responding to him.
Well,
So,
Could have put you under oath.
so I'm just responding.
Okay, all right, great.
And with that being said, Judge, I'm just asking the court to have some leniency and mercy on him, considering his poverty and considering that he was doing the best with the resources that he did have. So that was my answer to your
Okay.
question.
Okay. You're invited to.
Mr. Booth,
Question.
Yes, sir.
where was your tent located?
Um, right, right down the street from Watts Park.
Down from Wise Park, so it's in Beaumont?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, where do you go to get food?
So,
Walk down to some other place, or, so you're physically able to walk to go get food?
yes, sir.
Why weren't you physically able to walk a little bit farther down and go to probation department on the 2 times or 4 times that you didn't report?
Um,
I mean, being poor has a lot to do with a lot of things, but not walking.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay, and you hadn't listed any physical disabilities, have you, that keep you from walking there?
Yes.
So, so you're not saying that you didn't report because you couldn't report just because you weren't in Salvation Army? You made a conscious choice not to report because of what? What reason? Okay. I don't have any further questions, Judge.
Anything else? Anything else?
No, sir.
Oh. All right, what's they say?
Judge, he's just not reporting. He didn't report before, he didn't report again, and there's nothing in his past that shows any mental history that we could have worked with a long time ago. So, 5 years prison, I think, would be fair.
All right, what would you like to say, sir? Go ahead, this is your, anything?
You give me an opportunity to start over. You
I
know,
thought I did.
I'm willing.
I thought I did when we put it on probation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but, and you pleaded guilty to fraudulent use of possession of identifying information. And it just, there's more to all of that. Your backpack, when you were arrested, let's see. You had TWIC cards, credit and debit cards, driver's license, health insurance cards of other people.
Yes, sir.
In total, 12 items of personal identifying information belonging to 7 different victims who were, that was recovered from the backpack. And nothing ever was paid back for them. But the point is that for you to be believed here, you pleaded guilty to stealing from people,
Yes, sir.
numerous people. Your credibility is not important enough. Also, we have 5,000 people on probation,
Yes, sir.
and a lot of them are at Salvation Army in places, and that they're financially, a lot of them are impoverished, and but they figure a way to report. And
Yes, sir.
the whole essence of supervision is reporting, and you didn't. You went AWOL on us, which is something that I tell people, if you can't do anything else, you gotta report
Yes, sir.
because you're not being supervised. If nothing further by anybody,
Yeah.
I'm going to find that there is sufficient evidence supporting this First Amendment motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater. As allegation 5 is proven true, that you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office on or about February 10th, 2026, which is a violation of condition 4 of your deferred or unadjudicated probation order. And actually, the evidence shows that you failed to report a lot more than just that date, but at that period of time is when you pretty much walked off the job. Thus, your deferred or unadjudicated probation is hereby revoked. Earlier in this case, you had pleaded guilty to the second degree felony of fraudulent use or possession of identifying information. You had pleaded guilty voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. There was sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt when we placed you on deferred or deferred any finding of guilt. Now that your deferred or unadjudicated probation is revoked, I hereby find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this underlying second degree felony. And you are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 4 years. You will be given credit for all time you have served, which looks like about 250 days for this sentence. Do you understand what has happened today, sir?
Yes, sir.
On these, and also the judgment shall reflect restitution in the amount of $1,800 is owed to Marquita Randall, Marqueta Randall, Randall, as the victim complainant in this case. Anything else? That is on.
Is it running for courage?